So who do I play today? Hmm. Let's see. Can try out Wukong. See if he's interesting. Fuck it. Let's do that. I'm still saving up for Lux because the skin I got was actually just kind of interesting. There she is. 3150? Really? I thought she was 4800. Huh. Piece of shit. It's just a fact. Well, if I play Lux, I'm gonna have to turn that bullshit off. Turn her voice lines off, because that's just some disgusting shit. Let's watch a video.
Oh no. Oh, we got Rammus coming in. Okay, interesting flash. Respect it though. Okay. Hit a minion. I'm raging. What is going on? Oh my god. The micro movements. Oh my god, it didn't even reach. Oh. How does he do it? How does he do it every single time, man? Okay, I'm about to eat my words. My. What was that? What just happened? I think he just triple barreled, like really, kind of sent them there. I don't really know what to say there.
Enemy spotted.
This episode is sponsored by CuriosityStream. You'd be hard-pressed to come up with a build that had a greater impact on the metagame in 2020 than the Bat build. And while they certainly do have an uncanny affinity for spawning mutated zoonotic viruses, there's a lot more to bats than just that. The Bat build is unique in several ways, so today we're breaking down the Bat build to discuss its stats, special abilities, matchup spread, unique class variants, and finally where they place overall in the tier list. So without further ado, let's get into it. The Bat sports a pretty wide range of both high and low stats. Their key stat is mobility, of course, and it's kind of a given that any flying build will have high aerial mobility but be lacking in their other movement options. Bats take this a step further though, having thinner, more flexible wings that cover both their arms and legs, that allow for far greater speed and precision of movement mid-air than most bird builds can achieve. In fact, while technically peregrine falcons can reach higher speeds during their dives, bats actually hold the record for the fastest flight speed in the game. This incredible mobility comes at a cost though, as we'll see with the bat's other stats. Bats have some of the weakest defenses in the game. Their thin, membranous wings are far less resistant to tears and scratches than feathered wings, meaning even a single hit from a relatively weak attack or mid-air collision might mean game over for a bat player. The bat's other stats also tend to be quite low. They aren't exactly stealthy flyers, and make much more noise than other nocturnal aerial builds like the owl. They also have pretty abysmal damage output. This makes sense though, as they don't really need it for offense, and if they're ever attacked, their defense and HP are so low that it would already be too late to strike back. So it's actually optimal to just stick to their hypermobile strategy and hope their other special abilities can carry them. Before we get into discussing special abilities, first we have to break down the different variations within the bat class, since the most important special abilities are not shared among all bats. All of these variations fall into one of two categories: microbats and megabats. Microbats are smaller and have a highly specialized nocturnal playstyle. They heavily favored spending evolution points on their hearing sense rather than vision, and so their eyes are quite small and not very useful. However, in addition to having excellent hearing, the microbats' heavy investment into the auditory skill tree grants them access to an extremely powerful unique ability, echolocation. Echolocation is a sound-based perception perk that allows the user to completely negate any stealth bonuses a player would normally have because of camouflage. It also allows bats to track the location of other flying players in the air, giving them greatly increased accuracy against airborne targets. It also greatly lowers the risk of collision while flying in tightly packed groups or through dense forests. This ability is definitely the most impressive aspect of the bat build, and the most integral to making their nocturnal playstyle viable. While most microbats survive entirely via the XP they get from PvP against flying insects, the microbat faction also contains the vampire bat, a strange parasitic build that uses its flight ability to stealthily drain small amounts of HP from other players. While I like the concept in theory, I feel like the Bloodsucker playstyle is done much more effectively by builds like the Mosquito and Tick, both of which have high enough stealth to actually succeed in their attacks even when the target is wide awake. Vampire bats, on the other hand, are not stealthy enough to drain a full blood meal from a conscious target. And given their extremely low defense, they cannot risk taking a hit while draining HP. It's likely that the vampire bats had far more success back before the truly giant mammal builds got banned, as these mammals would have had much more difficulty detecting and swatting away such a small flying parasite. Aside from also having the ability to fly, the Megabat faction has a very different strategy than Microbats. The Megabat player base is diurnal, and as such, they did not spec far into the auditory skill tree at the cost of their vision. Quite the opposite, in fact. Megabats have excellent vision, but they cannot use the echolocation ability. In theory, this is a better strategy, rather than spending a bunch of evolution points on the expensive high-level sonar ability. It's more efficient to just go for a more standard vision upgrade, and still have plenty of points left over to pump into things like direct base stat boosts. This is what allows Megabats to grow several times larger than their nocturnal cousins. Now, due to their lack of echolocation, there's pretty much no way they could attack flying insects midair with any sort of accuracy. So Megabats opt for an herbivorous playstyle, and use their power of flight to access the best loot, similar to parrots. Despite being a much easier playstyle, I actually think it's nearly as viable as the Microbat strategy, provided there's enough fruit around to sustain the energy needs required by a flying mammal. So how do bats fare against their most common encounters? As I said before, microbats have excellent matchups against flying insects. That's pretty much a given since they're specifically specialized for that matchup. Moths in particular have actually started speccing into their own sonar abilities in order to jam bat echolocation so that they aren't such a free kill all the time. This still has a long way to go before it has much of an effect on the matchup though. Microbats are also occasionally able to score kills on amphibian players, though personally I see this as more of an indictment of the frog's abysmal defensive stats than it is praise of the bat's offensive ability. Surprisingly, the biggest threats to bats are stationary ambush builds, since echolocation doesn't do a great job picking out other players who aren't moving. Snakes in particular can detect them using their heat vision, and can lash out and score a kill while they're passing by. Spiderwebs can pose a major problem to careless bat players too, as most bats are actually light enough to be restrained mid-flight if they run into them. However, skilled bat players can actually pinpoint the spider player via echolocation and snatch them right out of their web, so this matchup is by no means one-sided. Echolocation also allows bats to detect players that have made the mistake of being at the surface of the water, even in the dark. Making an attack on one of these targets is a bit of a gamble too, though. Megabats, in contrast, have great difficulty dealing with birds of prey. Since they have no sonar for early detection of an incoming attack, they can be taken down both mid-flight and while hiding in trees by aggressive raptor players. However, with their large frame, they're also far better in the intimidation department, meaning they can frighten players away who might challenge their control over the best loot sources. Their
Yeah.
slightly higher defensive stats, while still not great, can also let them tank a hit or two if they get lucky. Wouldn't exactly rely on this, but still, credit where
Matt's Instagram?
I mean, yeah, sure.
It's just Madigan 1201.
Makes sense.
Dude, where did I learn that? There's so many sirens.
Hell.
What state?
Minnesota.
Oh, downtown?
Uptown, actually.
Their choice of abilities is expensive, and I'm not entirely sure that it has paid off when weighted against the to make for their base stats. Of the three flying factions in the game, I actually think bats rank the lowest overall. Birds have them beat in terms of versatility and practicality, as they can fly longer distances and have more durable wings. Insects have bats beat in terms of defense, being able to fly while still rocking some pretty solid armor. Nonetheless, the bat's flight precision is quite respectable. Highly skilled bat players can accomplish quite a lot using the bat's limited tools. I expect the bat's position on the tier list to rise as the current meta continues to centralize around the city biome, something microbats excel at. The bat's incredible disease resistance is also not to be overlooked. In fact, human data miners are trying to track the bats to see if the bat's immunity is something that can be used as a model for advancing
First blood.
This is the subject
An
of
enemy has been slain.
Breakthrough, which chronicles the research that was done this year regarding the huge nerfs the human player base had to deal with in 2020. Every mistake is a lesson. You can watch the whole series right now by signing up for CuriosityStream. CuriosityStream is a streaming service with thousands of
An
amazing
ally
documentaries and
has been
nonfiction
slain.
titles. I've been
An
plugging them
enemy
all year
has
and for
been
good
slain.
reason. The stuff on there is top notch. Their breakthrough series on bat immunity is fascinating, but they've also got some excellent classics, like Walking with Dinosaurs and Nigel Marvin's Sea Monsters, two titles I've rewatched many times just for fun. The membership is an incredible 41% off right now, meaning you can get a year's membership for less than $12 a year. You'll also get access to my own stream as we've partnered with CuriosityStream to bundle our services. I've got some pretty wild originals planned for Nebula in 2021, which you won't want to miss. So, to get your all-access pack to CuriosityStream and Nebula for the new year, head to curiositystream.com/Tuesday or click the link in the description. Special thanks to CuriosityStream for literally sponsoring every single video I made this year, and also a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon. Here's hoping the 2021 update is a good one. Show me the path.
I'll be right back.
I got this. Put me to the test. Who questions my ability?
An enemy has been slain. Double kill. An ally has been slain.
Does it count?
Shut down.
It counts? Actually, it's some bullshit. Damn.
You have slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
You got it.
Is Joe still just walking back to lane? Ah, there it is.
Killing spree.
Up in CS, up in kills.
I got this.
An ally has been slain. Rampage.
Every mistake is a lesson.
Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
Put me to the test.
An enemy has been slain.
Never settle for second. Show me the path.
We're all getting some.
An enemy has been slain. Killing spree.
Just try it.
An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
Been waiting for this.
Get my sunburn back. Probably getting on Mercs.
Who questions my ability?
Hydra would be kind of nice, to be honest. Stone skin.
My journey's only beginning.
An enemy has been slain.
Korean. Oh, that's pretty nice. Is that cover for later? Just gonna let him push up and see if I can.
Rampage. Killing spree. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Actually, I want to.
Put me to the test.
Maybe Tiamat. Stick around till I can grab a long sword.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Wukong's actually.
Every mistake.
Is nobody going for drag? Our team or theirs? I actually have no clue whether I can actually beat the dragon. Like solo.
An enemy has been slain.
Well,
Never settle for second.
that's some nutty time. Oof.
Unstoppable. Killing
Well,
spree.
that's some. Kind of wanted that one, but Cloud will definitely be nice.
Just right stuff.
Rampage. Shut down. Rampage.
My journey's only beginning.
Double kill.
1750.
Is that all they've got?
Blue buff? Yeah, blue buff. Battlecry.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Adapt to all situations. Who questions my ability?
Dominating. Double kill.
Is he just going back under his tower? Oh, that's...
Dominating.
Rygar is 5-1. Ravenous Hydra and Stairback's Gauge.
Every mistake is a lesson.
I'm gonna grab red buff real quick. Graves will need it. Well, he might need it, but he's not gonna get it. Oh, that's crazy. That tower wasn't there, that'd be great. Oh.
An ally has been slain.
Never settle for second.
He's
Shut down.
oh my god.
An enemy has been slain.
Oh, shit. Don't fucking question ping me.
You got it.
Looks like that shit before he put up the cage.
Godlike.
Nope. You fucking kidding.
Enemy rampage.
Adapt to all situations.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy is unstoppable. Double kill. Your team has destroyed a turret. Killing spree.
Been waiting for this.
Legendary. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Put me to the
An enemy has been slain. An ally
14 shit. The shrooms must count, like otherwise that's just insane.
Rampage. Double kill.
We need a real challenge.
You guys are chasing quite far.
You got it.
I'm just gonna ward up the Baron. Damn it. I'll just get rid of him. I'm not going for Baron.
Never settle for second.
An ally has
Fuck him.
Is that all they've got?
shut down.
Oh my god. $1,600.
My journey's only beginning.
God. Stop fucking me.
Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Questions my ability.
An ally has been slain. Legendary.
I got ult. And
Ally.
zoomed out.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Sterax. Oh, I'm probably just gonna go and grab that. Do you think I could? I don't think I could. probably gonna go for something like a could go for an Edge of Night, but I'd probably
An
something
enemy
like
has
this.
been slain.
Bring me a real
An enemy has been slain.
Sayo.
You got it.
Rygar's still alive. Very worrisome. Perfect. They're gonna int, and I'm just gonna grab this tower.
Shut down. Enemy killing spree. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Me to go. Two, one. They better fucking get that.
My journey's only beginning.
I mean, I could just like.
Show me the path.
An
Why
enemy
would you?
has been slain.
Alright, you're not getting it.
An enemy has been slain.
I mean, I like playing Wukong. It's actually very fun.
My ability. My place is at the top.
I need to go.
Bring me a real challenge.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Okay.
Every mistake is a lesson.
An ally has been slain. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Your team has destroyed a turret. Legendary. Your team has destroyed a turret. Victory.
Graves was worthless, and that didn't fit. How much is Wukong? I was gonna be like 38 or something, but or 31. Oh, he's at 48. Oh shit. Fuck. So yeah, no, actually, do I want to use the luck skin, or do I want to have fun? Because that was very, very fun. So no one told your life wasn't gonna be this way. The job's a joke, you broke. Your love life's the way. Dun, 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 dun.
I don't do anything until like 2-3 p.m. So
Yeah,
it's
they're just nice, like chill way to start the day. Like they're really laid back, really relaxing. The fucking dissonance between, like, I said, yeah, it's been really nice playing the early morning streams. We're having so much fun. The final Ross.
It's gonna look really bad on me here. It's gonna look incredibly, but why would I not vacate the area if it was me? There's a vent right there.
Well, it's not Falk.
I gotta pay attention
Wolf,
to
did
the
I see
discussions.
you
I'm
by
missing
the
out so
doors
much.
to
I saw
Oh, yeah,
Koji
that
and
makes
Wolf in comms. Came back and went to vitals. Squiddy was dead.
Yeah, I
They
think
shut
it's
and I
somebody.
went straight to lights, and that's why I went straight back there afterwards because I was like, "There's
Yeah,
a
because I
dead
thought
body."
you came out the right, didn't you, Raz?
Yeah, we have the Ross collage ready for the next round.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
right.
sus-
That's right.
I'm most sus of Sherlock and Raz because this is on O2 tree, and I saw Sherlock run this direction before I left the O2 area.
I'm playing a different fucking game to everyone. I kind of just hope I die so I can work more on the Ross memes. I'm not helping my team at all.
What if it is a self-report and I missed it? Now I'm like paranoid.
Yeah, I think
That's a good play. I like that.
It's the evolution of the move, right?
I like it. I like it.
Killing in front of somebody and just hoping that they're blinded.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm so unfocused. I need to get all the shit off the screen. I can't play the game right now. Hang on, where's my task? I can walk over to one of them. Get rid of the Ross. Oh my god, get rid of them. I've done nothing the round again.
Are you actually saying that I'm on the body? Is that what?
Porofessor is an in-game desktop app. Once the game starts, Porofessor scouts your opponents. Learn how...
Hello everyone and welcome to my Wukong guide. So in this guide we're going to start off with the abilities. Let's get into it. The first ability you want to know about is Wukong's passive, Stone Shin. With Wukong's passive, every time you reach attack an opponent you get 1 stack. When you get a stack you get 5 to 9 bonus armor and you regenerate 0.5% of your maximum health. Overall this ability is amazing for fighting. And it's really overpowered for level 1 fights, so one thing you can often try to do is do a sneaky level 1 fight on the opponent with Wukong, and you're going to most likely win most level 1 fights in that direction, so you can sneak into the enemy bush, the tri-bush, and sit and wait, and then try and wait for them to come after helping the jungle on red buff, and you can get a massive fight going. Next up we have Wukong's Q, Crushing Blow, extremely important ability. This ability gives you range every time you level it up, from 75 bonus range to 175. So once you're at max range, it's almost in between an auto attack to a ranged attack. So you want to use this to utilize the range. It's super important because Wukong isn't always that strong, but then you have a ranged advantage. You can attack people without them being able to attack you. Also, it's important to use this ability first because you reduce the opponent's armor, then you hit them. It gives you a little bit of damage too, so that's all important. One thing to notice, you can combo this with your Wukong W, the clone, so your clone can also use the Q. And then of course, as its normal abilities, there's an attack animation cancel, so you can use it to attack animation cancel. And then the last thing to note about Wukong's Q is the cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds every time you or your clone attacks an opponent. Next up, we have Wukong's W. Wukong's W is an invisibility decoy, so you use it, you get a decoy, a fake clone, and then you become invisible for 1 second. Now your clone can attack opponents, it can give you passive stacks, and it also works well with your Q because it does a lot of damage already, right? So you want to try and utilize your clone with your Q or your ultimate because it does a lot of damage and helps out a lot. Next up we have Nimbus Strike. Nimbus Strike, you dash your opponents, you get 2 additional clones that also dash them. These clones can block non-targeted spells, so skill shots and so on for 25 seconds, which is a very short period of time, but it can be used really nicely. One thing to note is the E gives you a lot of attack speed, 40 to 60%, and it also gives you a clone that attack speed, so this ability is extremely useful and gives you a ton of damage. Now, let's talk about Wukong's ultimate, Cyclone. You start spinning around, your clone can also spin around, and you do a ton of damage. You do 1 to 2% of targets in maximal health, and a quarter of your attack damage every 0.25 seconds. So you're going to be attacking continuously with this and do a ton of damage to opponent. Now you want to use this ability mainly to kite people backwards in teamfights. As main example here, the opponents are going to engage in your team, you clone away towards your teammates so you can start kiting backwards, and then you click ultimate, the clone and yourself are going to be spinning on the opponents that are diving into your team. This is generally the optimal way to use the ability. Sure, you can also use it for engages and other things, but often this is a kite ability and it's amazing for that purpose. Alright, now let's get into Wukong's skill order. So on Wukong, generally you want to start E level 1, then you go W or Q, you can choose whichever you need in the specific lane, and then afterwards you max Q into E into W. It's a pretty simple, straightforward path. Now let's go over Wukong's runes. So Conqueror is Wukong's bread and butter. You always want to have Conqueror. After that you go for Triumph, you go Alacrity or Tenacity depending on what you need, mostly Alacrity, and then you go Last Stand. These are generally the runes you want to have. Now the second tree is much more interesting. So you can go Inspiration with Boots and Potions, that's a very normal path to take, overall super powerful. The second thing you can do if you want to do a little bit more damage, you can go Domination, and then you can take Sudden Impact and Ravenous Hunter, because Ravenous Hunter gives you a lot of healing later on. Now for the early game build and for quicker pass backs with items, you want to go Inspiration. For a little bit more damage and a little bit more healing later on, you want to go Sudden Impact and Ravenous Hunter. So you gotta make that choice yourself. Now in the small runes, you can take in the first one attack damage or attack speed. I prefer attack speed, most people do. It feels nicer, but attack damage might be slightly better. Either one is fine. The second one you definitely want to have attack damage. And then the third one you want to take armor or matrices depending what you need, but mostly armor because you will be hit by a lot of minions. And armor often tends to be stronger early game. Alright, now finally let's talk about the items. This is the most interesting part about Wukong, so you gotta bear with me, this is gonna be a little bit crazy. Now for mythic items, Wukong actually uses 4 different ones. The first one I want to talk about is Gore Drinker. Gore Drinker is amazing if you want to be a tankier person that's mainly oriented to peel for your team. So if you're engaging the opponents or if you're peeling for your team because the enemies are engaging on you and you're mostly just poking them and hiding with your team comp. In those cases you want to have Gore Drinker. Gore Drinker is really good for that. Now instead, if you want to be more damage oriented with some high burst while still being somewhat tanky, you can go for Sundress. Sundress is great against teams where you don't want to be the main tank, you're kind of like an off tank or something like that, and then you still want to do a lot of burst damage, and you don't want to be hitting people a lot, you want to be bursting and then getting out a little bit, bursting and then getting out a little bit. Then the next option is Trinity Force. Trinity Force is the item you have if you want to be hitting people continuously, you want to be more split pushing, you want to be doing damage all the time, and you want to focus on that. This is a much squishier build, and you're going to be a lot easier to kill. So this is definitely not a build you want to go if you want to tank anything. It's mostly just if you don't want to tank, you already have tanks, or you don't need to tank at all, and you want to focus a little bit on split pushing too. Now last but not least, you can also go Eclipse if you want to be an assassin as Wukong. This build, you're full squishy, you're going to do tons of damage, you're going to go straight in, and then you're going to just focus on killing people as fast as possible. This is a risky build that honestly you have to be an amazing Wukong player to even pull off. I talked to a lot of Wukong mains, and some of them actually go for this build, so you can test it out if you want to, but it's at your own risk. Now let's get into the follow-up items. So for the follow-up items, generally what you want to go is either Black Cleaver or Ravenous Hydra. So Black Cleaver is against more tankier teams where you need the armor penetration. It's really, really good if you have a lot of AD on your team as well, because Wukong is amazing at applying it. Now if you don't really need the armor penetration, then you want to go for Ravenous Hydra instead. Ravenous Hydra is super good on Wukong right now. It's a ton of damage, it gives you everything you could ever want, and overall it's an amazing ability. Plus it gives you the option of getting a Tiamat, and Tiamat is super good on Wukong. If you don't have a Tiamat, you lose a lot of tempo on Wukong, so it's very important to get that one. Now the third item you want to look at is generally going to be Asterix Gates. Asterix Gates is really strong in Wukong because again it's just a bruiser item, you get tankier. Tankier is nice, so Asterix is almost always a good option. Now if you didn't get a Black Cleaver early and you really still feel like you need the Black Cleaver, you can also go Black Cleaver at this point, but generally we'll go for Asterix. Now for the items to finish up your build, the two last items that you'll be getting, you should generally look for something like a Death Stance, Chempong Chainsword, or Guardian Angel. So it's pretty obvious. The Death Stance is if you're strong and you don't die really quickly, then you can start regening a lot with the Death Stance. Death Stance is super good for that. It's for sustain a longer fights. The Chainsword is if you need Grievous Wounds and you just want a ton of damage. Grievous Wounds have been buffed in this season. It's a lot stronger now, so sometimes you gotta go that. You're gonna be a little bit squishier, but sometimes that's worth it. And then the last item, the Guardian Angel. Well, I mean, if you're going in, you're a Suicide Bomber, you do your damage and you expect it to die, in that case, Guardian Angel is amazing. It's basically a Suicide Bomber item. It's really, really strong for that purpose, and that is why you want to buy.
This is the new Ergo Smart Base from Tempur-Pedic, and it responds to snoring automatically. So no more nudging your partner or opting for the couch, because the Tempur Ergo Smart Base is our first system.
Hey everyone, today I want to talk about Wukong, combos, mechanics, tips and tricks, and other things you want to know before you play Wukong. Let's get into the first thing. Wukong level 1 is really strong, often you skill E level 1 if you want to be aggressive, Q if you want to be defensive. And if you want to be super defensive, you can opt in for W. Now one thing you want to know is if you go for E here, against most champions you're stronger than them. Sure, maybe against the Darius you're probably going to lose, but not every champ is Darius. Most champs you're stronger than them. One thing you can do, let's say you expect the enemy to start topside. The enemy top laner is going to help his jungler topside. Oop, you can sneak into this bush, wait a little bit. He comes, you auto E and then you start fighting him. By doing that, you often get a massive lead early game. It's a really, really big strategy that you want to utilize. Now another thing to note is if you're in the lane, the minions are coming, the opponent's up here, and it's a laner you think you can beat, then you should skill E and you should start pushing. You don't want to push crazy fast, you want to have like 2 or 3 hits above him. And by pushing like that, you actually have a massive advantage because you're really strong. But if you don't push against most laners, you actually lose as Wukong, from my experience. Now, if you want to play passive, you have the Q, you want the opponent to push you in, you just want to sit back, use your Q. Your Q gives you extra range. This is one thing to note. If you look at my auto attack right now, it's here. If you look at my Q, however, it's all the way out here, right? It's a massive range difference, and you want to utilize that to your advantage. Now, obviously, level 1 is not going to be as much. It's going to be very small, and it gets better and better every time you level it up. At level 9, it's around this range, which is huge. So the thing is, if you play passive, you skill Q first, and you're expecting the enemy to be stronger than you, just play kind of passive, just last hit, Q for some minions and so on if you need to, depending on the lane. Let him push you in, get your levels, and then once you're 6, you actually start becoming really strong. Now let's get into some other combos that you want to think about. So the combos you generally want to think about is something standard, like an auto attack Q, very easy to pull off. Then you have the E auto Q, also pretty easy to pull off if you do it properly. These combos are vital to know and be able to pull off, because a lot of people are going to try and pull it off and then they do this. That was an EQ instead of an E auto Q. You want to do it properly. So it's really important you practice it. You can do it in practice mode 5 minutes a day. It doesn't really take that long. Now, there's also more complicated things that you need to know. There's a E auto Q and then you W, and then you start running. You can run up, you can run down, depending on what you want to do. Maybe you want to get behind them because your jungler is ganking and you don't want them to know where you're going. A lot of ways to play around with that. Then there's also some more complicated things that actually most people don't even know about, I think. And it's the one thing you can do is you can auto Q and then W, look here. And your clone gets the Q off, then power Q if you do it fast enough, which you actually use the W before you hit the Q. Like, look there. It goes off, right? But the thing is, you click auto, Q, then W, you use it, and the clone gets the damage off as well, which is really, really powerful. A lot of people don't know you can do that, and it's just faster than doing it the normal way. Then another thing you want to do is the EQW. This is really important to know this one. Again, you get it off in time if you Q beforehand, so you can get your entire combo off faster. And then if you want to, you can also combine this with the ultimate, where you EQW ultimate. And then this is the number 1 combo you want to know for all enemy people, because that way you do the most damage, because you can instantly proc your ultimate, right? You proc it faster than last time, and it's super, super powerful. So let's do it one more time. EQW ultimate.
Alright. It's interesting though.
You see
Yeah, I'm actually gonna do Wukong again. He's interesting. Wukong. Motion bone plating. Yeah, fuck it, why not? Is he in the jungle? Interesting. Me first so I can slap the dude. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Wait, it's John in mid? Who made him Lux then? I'm getting a D shield. First, so it's gonna be Thresh and Warwick. Actually,
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn.
and he canceled this auto too. Let's go. We went right back in the bush. I'm start going towards me though. Gordon here might be kind of nice though. Put a ward in there. Welcome back, Nut. What'd you say?
What are you playing?
I'm going Wukong. Alright, I guess I'm just not doing it.
Just try to stop.
First blood.
Is that all they've got? Show me the path. Who questions my ability?
An enemy has been slain.
Been waiting for this. Wuju style. My journey's only beginning.
I'm actually gonna go Gore Drinker because we have 0 tanks. Oh, actually. Fate is actually just kind of a good idea. In general. But I'll grab that, one of those. He hasn't hit 6 yet, so I can just walk back to the lane. He's pushing towards me too, that's kind of nice. Probably gonna get back in time. Okay, it's not ganked once. That's worrisome, but alright. He hasn't hit 6 yet. There he is.
My place is at the top.
An slain.
Bring me a real challenge.
Wait, Kane actually just stole your kill, bro, on that team.
Yeah, he kind of did, but it's fine.
Yeah, you actually just got smart.
Not gonna lie, I didn't even see him coming.
Bro, I didn't even see him. I don't know why he just sat there right as you got level 6. He literally just sat there. And he just kept he was right. Whatever. I love low levels. It's weird. Oh, you can hear me in the stream.
Oh shit, I forgot I was streaming.
Bro, you've been singing on your stream.
Oh fuck.
I was listening. Okay, it's not like you were singing a whole song. What's funny though is that you, like your previous Wukong game, and then you sung for like 10 seconds and you watched the video. I was so confused. I was wondering what you're doing. I couldn't figure it out.
I deadass forgot I was streaming. I was mostly just looking at Wukong guides because he's fun. But now I have the dilemma. Do I buy Lux and get the skin? Or do I just buy Wukong and have fun?
Oh, the Cosmic Lux skin. I just don't care for Lux.
Yeah, I won't be able to talk for a while though.
No. Alright, well. You better win this game. Otherwise, I have to delete you off of both my accounts. You're mad, and I'll have to delete Nut since Nut is also here. He's a witness. Sorry, Nut.
Slain an enemy. An ally has been slain.
Just try to stop me. Been waiting for this.
Killing spree.
Who questions my ability? Is that all they've got? Put me to the test.
Enemy rampage.
Wuju style.
Shut down. You have slain an enemy. You have been slain. An enemy is dominating.
My journey's only beginning.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Every mistake is a lesson.
You have slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain.
My place is at the top.
Shut down. Enemy double kill. An enemy has been slain.
Try to stop me. Bring me a real
You have slain an enemy.
Been waiting for this.
An enemy has been slain.
Show me the path.
An enemy has been slain.
Adapt to all situations. Is that all they've got? Put me to the test.
An ally has been slain. Killing spree. An enemy is legendary. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Wuju style.
Enemy double kill.
Who questions my ability?
An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed.
My journey's only beginning.
An enemy has been slain.
Never settle for that.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Rampage.
Just try to stop me.
Unstoppable. been slain.
Is that all they've got? Been waiting for this.
An enemy is legendary. An enemy is legendary. Shut down. Enemy double kill.
You got it. My place is at the top. Every mistake is a lesson.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain. An enemy is legendary. An enemy has been slain. An enemy is legendary. Enemy double kill. Triple kill. An enemy has been slain. Shut down.
Adapt to all situations. Put me to the test. Been waiting for this.
Turn. the heck did I do?
Wait, what'd you say? Unturned?
I said I returned. I was wondering if y'all were gonna play a game after that one. I'd join ya.
I'm not. He's playing solo.
Did seriously play another after that?
Taking a break for a day, actually. No more league.
You are not. You overworked yourself playing so pro.
Yeah, I kind of sucked dick
Okay,
at
this is.
it, so I'm taking a break.
An enemy has been slain.
No, I got to go to the store. That's what I basically said.
I know. I literally just said okay. I didn't say search.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
How's it going today, Matt?
Tiring.
Get any chicks off Tinder yet?
Swipe. Wait, isn't it left? Or no?
No, I don't have it.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know which way it is.
Accept my
This
friend
way.
request on Instagram.